to the rededication ceremony for the Webb Cemetery. I'm Ken Gardner, for those of you who don't know me, president of the Joseph Boggs Society. Groups that are involved in doing the restoration are the Joseph Boggs Society for Historical Preservation in Boggstown, and we coordinate this restoration and are now started working on 2 more pioneer cemeteries in our Sugar Creek Township. So we provide a lot of the labor and probing and finishing up the cemetery. The Shelby County Community Aspiration Group, represented by Coordinator Liddy Davidson. Liddy, we're right there. Her group asked last year if we had anything in our township that needed beautification or something like that, and Mike Shaw thought of this cemetery. And so ever since then, we've worked together to they provide some labor and finding the grant money, as it does take grant money. Blue River Community Foundation, represented by Program Director Lynn Insminger, who we're waiting on. Her group provided most of the grant money needed to fix the stones, and they've also provided grant money for past Boggs Society activities. The Greenfield Granite Company, owned by Mike and Cindy Heck, they're back here. Their company repaired the stones and put them back in the ground, and they donated a nice Webb Cemetery stone there in the middle. And on June 28th, 3 of their employees, Steve Bundy, John Henderson, and Drew Heck, put the stones back in the ground on the hottest day since 1954 at 104 degrees. I was out here most of that time, but I was also in the van a lot of the time. They were doing most of the work, so all days to do it. And Fred and Gail Hamilton own and farm the cemetery ground. I invited Fred. I saw one of his sons driving by, and I don't know if that's his combine I saw out running there, so he's probably out in the field working, which I will be too after I get done here. You sure can ask questions. Right. The question is why the stones are not where they were originally buried. One reason, and Mike or Sandy or somebody might be able to improve on this, but we don't know exactly where they were. But they were pretty much just out from where they are here, because we found a few bases, and there used to be a tree there, so they're closed. The reason they're along here is because Fred didn't want us to use any more farmland than we had to. So otherwise we were going to put them in kind of a rectangle shape. Like I said, we have no idea exactly where they were buried. So just to show to represent what they were. And really the neat thing about this is that people drive by here, they see it and stop, and I guess that first after they did, they said people drive by and stop and back up and look at it. So as long as the kids don't bother it, it really looks kind of neat this way. Any other questions? Waiting. As far as maintenance on this, we put some grass seed in there to make it look nice. So Fred said he'll mow it, though the way most farmers mow, it's we'll see. So chances are the Boggs Society will try to do what we can over the years. That's why we put pea gravel up there to keep the plastic underneath there to keep weeds from coming up, and we can shoot Roundup on there once in a while. So hopefully we keep the grass real heavy, thick in there. It'll try to keep weeds out. So.
Hi, I'm Liddy Davidson with Community Aspiration. We have Don Current down here with Shelbyville today, and he's recording this. And I was sitting over there thinking that a lot of you don't know, you haven't seen the pictures of what this was like when we first started. A lot of you have. But Don's going to I'm going to provide him, I've pretty much chronicled that with everyone else here taking pictures, and kept a a group of the pictures, then maybe, Don, we could put that up on Shelbyville Today.
Sure. Yep.
So people can see. I mean, I think if you see what it was like when we first started and where we are today, it really it makes a big difference. So, and that is on ShelbyvilleToday.com. No dots, just says ShelbyvilleToday.com.
Okay. Hi, Lynn. We started a little bit, but we stopped to wait on you to get to the. We already mentioned that your Blue River Community Foundation provided most of the grant money for this. So wave your hand. The rest of it don't know you. But
all the manual labor that went into it, that was the important part.
next, I have Sue Webb. Raise your hand, Sue. She is now lives in Michigan and is I guess still the only surviving Webb from this group of Webb family. So when we first started working on this, I knew Steve Webb that lives over on that farm over there, and I thought, well, he's surely related to these Webbs, all these Webbs buried here. So he said, no, I'm not, but he knew Sue because they went to school together in Franklin. So we got her email address, and she's been involved in all the emails back and forth and things. So it worked out that she was able to be here, and that's pretty cool. She worked with Pam Parker Tucker. Is Pam here? Oh, you're the ones asking all the questions. Okay. I guess Pam is it J.P. Parker Flowers in Franklin provided the flowers today with I guess this is the one by the big stones, kind of a pioneer type arrangement. So it looks pretty nice. We would have had soybeans, but Fred combined those last week or so. Okay, we're going to have a couple people tell some of the things now. First one is Mike Shaw. Where's Mike? Let me stop him back here. Mike is one of the directors of the Joseph Boggs Society and probably our best historian as far as knowing what goes on around here. And he's good at finding out about people, and he's done some history searching, I guess, on the cemetery and the kids here and so forth. So after he tells us some of that, Sandy Howe is going to talk about what the groups did to restore this. So here's Mike.
I try to do this here. I'm not a speaker, I'm a reader. But, hello everyone, my name is Mike Shaw. I'd like to thank everyone for coming. Oh, you can't hear me, huh? I never had that problem at home. Anyway, my name is Mike Shaw with the Boggs Society. I'd like to thank everyone for coming today. I'd like to thank all the individuals and organizations involved in the reconstruction of the Webb Cemetery. I think we've done a fine thing here. And apparently, this isn't the last one we're going to do. So we're always looking for volunteers. When this project started, we were concentrating on just 11 graves. The information coming from prior readings by the Shelby County Genealogical Society in '71, we raised that number to 12 when we found, who was it? Louise Applegate.
Yeah, Louise Applegate.
Which is
Webb Cemetery.
So when we found that, we thought, boy, we're on it. We're going to find a bunch of them. But we ended up with 12. 3 more children have been named. In the Needham Township, Johnson County, Indiana cemetery listings of 2000. We didn't find any of these stones. And the Johnson County book doesn't state where their information comes from, but the dates do fit in with those buried here. So I'm hoping that book was done on reliable information. I'm sure it probably was. And today I would like to add these names to our dedication, even though we don't have the stones. I feel the reconstruction of this cemetery has been a way for us to recognize our early pioneers' bravery by honoring the things most dear to them, their children. The graves here are those of children, with the exception of a young man of 22. The average age of those buried here is but 4 years. The Webb Cemetery was only used for about 24 years, with the first burial in 1834 and the last in 1858. Most of the children interred here are related to each other. Joseph Beans Huff, the builder of the Red Mills in Bogstown, has 4 grandchildren buried here. 12 of the 15 are related to him either directly or through his son-in-law. Maybe I could just a little bit more. Sam Strickler is a great-granduncle to Boggs Society member Jill Johnson Sanders. When we first started this, what I tried to do is find relatives of the individuals buried here. That was tough. I haven't had much luck. And as far as the Webbs up here and the Webbs here not being related, if you do genealogy, I just got to say, want to bet? I'll bet you somewhere. It's not known why this cemetery wasn't used after 1858. Starting in the 1840s, burials started taking place in the nearby Second Mount Pleasant Cemetery. Most of the parents, siblings, and other extended family members of those here were buried there. We're going to do little cards on each one to kind of give everybody an indication who the parents were and so forth. Hopefully we got that right, but I think we do. The one we had that was the 22-year-old, Samuel Strickler, was sort of an issue for us because couldn't find anything on him. But I found a Samuel Strickler supposedly buried in Tennessee. He's the one and the same, I believe, because birth date and death dates are identical. And as we know here, the ones that are local, the Stricklers have been here for years. So we're sure it's the right one. 90% sure. But anyway, that's it. Thank you.
So Mike, you said it was the first burial in 38, even though the first stone we have is 34.
Because 38 or 34 would be one of the 3 that we have names for that we don't have stones for.
So they're not buried in the...
They're not buried in Second Mount Pleasant.
Oh.
And most of the parents, like I say, from these children are buried in Second Mount Pleasant with their children. There are some that aren't. We'll have that in our little cards. One of the families I know, they died in Marion County, but I couldn't find the graves or anything as far as the parents. Like I say, that's about all. I know that this area here, I have grandparents in Second Mount Pleasant. So this area here, I don't think county lines defined much back then.
This is a different township on this side of the road from
different township, and right down here, different.
And the church is in Franklin, or in Johnson County, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
even though that, I mean, it's so close.
Yeah. So. But anyway, any questions on any of these? Okay, where we go? Thank you.
Now, Sandy Halley, another one of the Boggs Society directors, is going to tell kind of what we did in the restoration. But watch out, Sandy. You don't want to get hit before you talk.
Keep my grandson Ollie.
Not as much as I used to. Okay, here we go.
Okay. In March of 2011, the Joseph Boggs Society decided that the Webb Cemetery was in need of restoring because it was in danger of being completely lost. In May, Julie, Liddy, and Lynn came for a tour and saw the cemetery site. Some of these things have been covered already a little bit. A lot of people supplied the muscle and brains to get this task accomplished. Permits to probe were applied for to the DNR and approved, so the search for the stones began in August. Julie was the motivating force because she had the experience and knew just what to do to get things going. Liddy from the Community Aspirations was wonderful in securing the grants we needed to do the restoring, along with Lynn from the Blue River Foundation. We were able to find all the recorded stones, and thanks to Mike Shaw's grandson, Nick, who dug it up, I think Julie found it, probed it, and Nick dug it up. We recovered the little Applegate girl. That stone was about 8 inches below the surface of the dirt and had not seen the light of day for many years. Greenfield Granite did such a wonderful job of restoring, cleaning, and repairing the stones, as you can see. They brought them back and set the stones, as Kenny said, on June 28th. I came down that day and it was too hot. Those poor guys, sweat was pouring off of them. Kenny made everything look nice, neat, and defined the area. The Webbs furnished the pea gravel and worked along with Mike and Darlene Shaw. Thanks to everyone. I'm sure I've probably left people out. You all contributed to preserving the history of our township and honoring these children of some of our pioneer families. September 19th, 2012, the state sign was put in place by Ken and his wife Ann. The highway department donated the post that it's on. Jason Carminer had a good idea, wasn't it, Jason, who told you to ask the highway department for the post? It took a long time, but didn't seem like it was that long, a year and a half, and lots of work by some very dedicated people to reach this point of completion of this project.
Any questions or? Thanks, Andy. I'm not sure whether that tractor and wagon's planning on coming through here or not, but you can go up through the field, but it's a little muddy for that, so. Fred knew we were doing this today, so I won't tell you what he said he might have thought about doing, but okay, you'd have to know Fred. Okay, now we're going to, as Mike said, recognize each child buried here. So I have some names, hopefully I have enough here. If not, we'll grab some people, Liddy and Lynn and Julie and Steve and Connie.